Great morning, holy brothers! Thank you so much for joining us on our pathway to peace inside the Garden of Peace. If you're following along, we're on page 137, and today's lesson is called Essential Escapism. And we have some people on the phone. Say hello.
Hey.
How do you do? Great. So we are ready to rock and roll. Some husbands who are not troubled by their lusts, by their physical desires, have complained to us that their wives are refusing to be with them, hoping that I will justify their complaints and put their wives in their place, saying, no, what's wrong with you? You got to be physical with your husband. What's wrong with you? If you want a massage from him, you're going to have to have sex with him. Come on, hello. If you're going to do something, do it all the way. You want to light him up, make him all excited, and then you're going to leave him alone, and then he's going to get all frustrated. They expect me to blame their wives for not fulfilling conjugal duties. Hello? Women have to put out also. You want somebody that's going to have a good relationship. You want them to have a wonderful marriage, and then you're going to have somebody that's not interested in being with them physically. What's wrong with you? And to their great surprise, all these men who come to me, what do you want me to do? I'm only human. Not only do I justify their complaints, but instead I clearly tell them if they do not get themselves out from their lowly lusts and their messed up, meddled, mixed up minds, their suffering will never end. Escaping from lust is essential for peace in the home. Our sages have called the guarding of personal holiness the guarding of the foundation, the basis for everything. Personal holiness is the foundation of faith and of every good character trait a person has. If a man wants to have strong foundational faith and holy humility and pure peace inside his mind and true tranquility, if he wants to be jubilantly joyous and pristinely patient with others, and especially with his wife, he will need to begin by guarding his personal holiness. And this creates a space and a fertile ground in which he can develop all those other goodness and traits inside himself. The only good and healthy way for a husband to sway his wife to live together is by described at the beginning of the Torah, in the first of the Bible, when it says, and to your husband will be your desire, not the other way around, and he will rule over you. Someone who wants to merit this pristine peace in his home must, by definition, escape this lowly lust. So, holiness. In the book of Kings 2, chapter 4, we are told about the Shunammite woman who dedicated a room in her home for the prophet Elisha to sleep over whenever he would pass through the town. This is how she described Elisha to her husband. And she said to her husband, behold, now I know that it is a holy man of God who often passes by us. The Talmud, the Gemara in Tractate Brachos 10b asks, how did she know that this guy was a holy man? Our two great sages, Rav and Shmuel, each give a different answer to this question. One says that she never saw a fly on his table when he was there sitting. And the other one states, because there could be tumah or other not clean things that other bugs and insects bring. So the fact that he was there, none of these insects ever entered into the realm of his 4 amos, into his space when he was there at their table. And the other one says that she never saw a nocturnal emission or anything dirty on his sheets when he came to visit and she had to clean them. We can understand the latter opinion. That is a clear sign of holiness, right? That the sheets are always clean and he's a pure person. but one who says that they never saw a fly on the table, that doesn't actually testify specifically to his holiness. This opinion comes to teach us that flies do not come or never are able to enter the realm of a place that is holy. And so much more so, we know this proof, where in the days of the holy temple, there were animals being slaughtered all day long. There was blood all over everything. And in a natural realm of physicality, there would be mosquitoes everywhere. There would be flies covering the carcasses. How could it be that there was never one insect or bug with an open air roof? Everything was open to the sky. You're going to tell me there was never any bugs or disgustingness flying around? It's a miracle that there was nothing over there, especially with everything that was going on. You can't say there wouldn't be. But because there was no holier place in the world than at the temple, it was physically impossible for the flies to enter the realm. It's not that, oh my gosh, we have to do things to keep them out and put all these citronella candles and bug zappers hanging on the walls. Do you understand? It's not based on that. The world functions by a way of a spiritual method, and then everything else comes into physical play because of this spiritual foundation. People have everything backwards. They don't understand this. Like, we talk about the Torah says that there's like X number of clean animals and X number of impure animals. And they say, but what if we find nowadays there's a new genetic mutation that there's going to be an eighth one, and the Torah only said 7. Like, they list a certain amount of flying creatures. Like, if it's not true, then it would undermine the whole Torah. And like, I tell these people, you don't understand. We don't ever have to worry about finding something that's going to undermine our belief. The only way that these things can exist in the physical world is because it's written in the Torah. The Torah is the generic material for the expression of the physical world. It would never be able to exist if it wasn't based in the spiritual realm. How can you say such a thing? It makes no sense logically. You're coming from the totally wrong, opposite perspective. If those words come out of your mouth, if the question even exists in your mind, you're way out of reality. You're not understanding how the world works. The Torah is the DNA, the blueprints for how reality comes into existence. Don't look at it from the other way around. Oh, but look what we see in the physical world. How can it gel with the spiritual realm? You're completely off your rocker. Understand which way completes the other one and where it comes from in the first place. Then you won't have those questions anymore. You'll understand how the world works and the way everything's functioning and set up. You hear the Chiddush, it's a great big idea that people have to understand which way everything comes from. The Maharsha, a 17th century CE commentator on the Talmud, explains that a man's dining table acts nowadays in place of the altar of the holy temple. Therefore, here comes the Chiddush, here comes the Kunst, here comes the Zap. Just as there were no flies in the temple, the holiest place on earth, so too nowadays, when our dining room table mimics the altar, if you had somebody on the spiritual level that can bring it back home, when Elisha came to the table, no flies were able to enter that spiritual presence because it physically couldn't exist. So you're telling me this guy said, oh my gosh, his sheets were clean, now he's a holy man? Other way around. The fact that there couldn't have been those lowly, dirty, impure flies at the table, they would fly near the house and be zipped the other way. They'd be like boomeranged out of the arena. That's even more showing to say, hey, this guy must be on that high level. Look what happens when he's in our home. The miracles that are abounding and the realness and the existence that can only be in such a place. The rabbi said the Shunammite woman didn't see a fly on his table. and the rabbi who said that she didn't see a nocturnal emission on his bed were really saying the same thing, one in another, because one goes exactly in and of itself. The intention of both were exactly the same. She saw something that testified to the pristine, proper, personal, holiness of Elisha himself. And this explains what Rabbi Nachman writes in Sefer HaMidot, Love 2:2. The love of a wife for her husband can be recognized by the flies and the mosquitoes in your home. Wake the heck up. Look around you. Do you need some fly traps? Do you need some bug zappers? Do you need some sticky tape in the wall? Although their love, it can be known if the strength of the evil inclination has been weakened or not. The presence or absence of flies or mosquitoes in the home now is going to show you an indication of a husband's holiness. The degree of his holiness in turn will determine how much his wife is going to love him, how much the wife is going to want to ask him to be with her tonight. As we said before, a wife only loves a husband who is guarding his personal holiness to the highest of levels, and the degree of love between them will be a clear, outright indication of whether the strength of the evil inclination has stronghold on him or has really been weaned down and weakened or not. Because true love is possible when the husband has fought against, beaten down, broken, and wildly weakened his pure passions and is not lingingly lustful anymore. What a class! What a lesson, holy brother. You hear this? Powerfully packed with a prime punch. And with that, have an awesome, deliciously amazing rest of your day. Dun, 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 dun.